Clairvoyance is a naturally occurring human gift, and it's time to bring this conversation to our daily lives. My name is Leah, and I'm going to be sharing 4 different ways that my personal clairvoyance has developed so far, and different practices that you can start today to bring forth development of your own. Let's start with the 4 different ways that my clairvoyance has developed. So 2 categories are going to be physical sight and mind's eye sight, and then each one of those is broken down into eyes open and eyes closed. Start off, we're going to talk about physical sight, eyes open. This first began with me back around when I was really young, but I really didn't start paying attention to it and realizing what it was until high school. I was sitting in class and colors just started shooting off of my teacher, these bright orange colors. And I thought partially, that I was going insane because nobody else was really talking about it. Nobody else had this experience as far as I knew. I later then found out, that these are auras. This is the energy that a person gives off. This is the color of them that day, that moment in time. And I was shown that I had the ability to see that. And it started happening, with a few of my other teachers. I would sort of do a little bit of tests to see what kind of mental state was I in that allowed this vision to appear to me the way it did. And so it was mainly a lot of experimental with that. The other way of seeing physically is going to be physically eyes closed. Now, the big thing about physically seeing is that it is exactly what you think it is. It is the way that I physically see this camera in front of me right now and the way that you see me here on this video. So we physically see them with our sense of seeing through our eyes. So seeing physically with your eyes closed is a little bit different. It's gonna feel more like a dream state. And for me, the way that it started off, and I've only had one specific instance where I've seen physically with my eyes closed. It's gonna feel like a dream, but the difference is that you're completely conscious during it. You're gonna be conscious like the way you're walking around in your everyday life, except for your eyes are closed and you're seeing beyond into a different vision of whatever that may be. And so when this happened with me, it felt like I had tunnel vision and everything around this little tunnel vision was just blacked out. And it started out with sort of a fuzzy image of I was in a car passing all of these trees and it was wintertime, I could see the snow that was in the area around me. Next thing you know, I'm standing in a field and I couldn't move around. That was the thing, is I didn't really have control over what I was seeing or what direction I was looking at. I was just there locked into this single vision of being at this line of trees, forest, snow time, winter. And I simply asked, can I look around? Can I see what else there is here? And as I asked that, I was able to turn my body around. And as I did this, there was 2 girls that were standing behind me just waiting for me. And they looked at me and they acknowledged me. They turned around and started walking towards this house that was behind them. And I started walking towards them and then I slipped out of it. And that was it. And that's the only instance to this date that I've had with physical sight, eyes closed. It felt like I had transported in time, and there's a lot of different things that I could speculate on what exactly it is and what it means, but I simply don't know, and that's all right. That's another thing with physical sight and developing clairvoyance, is that at the beginning there's going to be a lot of questions and a lot of things that we still don't know and that we don't really understand until we raise ourselves to a conscious level where we're just instantly given the knowledge of what it is. For instance, physical sight, eyes open. One may see orbs, they may see colors, they may see sparkles, streaks of light through the air. You may see a lot of things that a lot of people don't really usually see in the normal light. For instance, when I drive at night, I see bright fluorescent purple that just lines the streets. And it gives me this sense of safety and this sense of security. And that's all I know about it. I don't know if it's angels, I don't know if it's ley lines, I don't know if it's energy grids. I don't have the answers to that. And that is completely fine, because right now all I know is how it makes me feel. And it's very positive, very safe. And I'm going to simply patiently wait to uncover what exactly it is. Great, so physical sight, eyes open. It's the way you see right now. Orbs, auras, colors. Often takes the shape of colors, but I have a feeling it's going to develop into a lot more. And then there's eyes closed, which is like a dream, but you're completely conscious. It feels like you're awake, but you're inside a dream. So mind's eye sight is a bit different than physical sight because it's not as tangible, it's not as solid as physical sight per se. The way that you can think about it is think about a memory in your head right now. I want you to go back, let's say, to an event that you really liked. A special event or a concert. Think about a concert that you went to and you really liked. And when you think about it, you can start to see it in your head, but you're not seeing it. You're not looking at videos, you're not looking at photos from that concert. But you still have a sense of remembering the details of what it was like to see that physically with your eyes. And that's exactly what mind's eye seeing is. It's the way that you remember a dream. When you wake up in the morning and you remember your dream and you start writing it out, and it's like you can see it all over again, but you're not physically seeing it. You're seeing it with your mind's eye. So you're recalling that dream, you're recalling that memory all with your mind's eye. Now the same exact thing can happen clairvoyantly receiving visions. And I believe that this is probably the most developed form of clairvoyance in humans, and it's often easily mistaken as imagination. You know, when kids are young, they say that they have all these best friends and all that kind of stuff. And who's to say that they really don't? But we start drilling in their heads, you know, that's just, this child has an active imagination, they're just making stuff up. But we know that there might be a little bit more to that than we fully understand. The biggest difference between imagination and mind's eye clairvoyance is going to be the realization of, hey, is my mind producing this image or is this coming from somewhere else? And that may seem a little bit odd at first, but you can sort of think of it the way that you can tell the difference between yourself speaking and somebody else speaking. You hear both of the voices the same, but you can tell that one of them's coming from you and you're physically doing one, and the other one you're listening to someone. So being able to develop that ability to differentiate the two starts with paying attention to these imaginative thoughts and these images that come to your head. I can almost guarantee that once you start paying attention to those images that are coming up, you're going to begin to develop the ability to see the difference between what is being sent to me as a vision and what am I simply creating with my imagination. I would love to hear and love to know where you're at in your clairvoyant journey. So please, please, please leave me a comment below. Tell me what you see, what you don't see, things that you might think are clairvoyance, and we can chat about it and really determine if this is a sign of clairvoyance or if it's not. And a lot of the time I can tell you right now that if you think it is, it most likely is. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I was going to tell you a few different practices to develop your own clairvoyance. And well, instead of a few, I'm going to be sharing one major key point in developing clairvoyantly. Are you ready? And that is to stop trying. I know everything in our life has told us that if you want something, go for it. You have to do a lot, do all this work. And yes, do a lot of work, but stop focusing so much on trying to be clairvoyant. Stop trying to force it. Stop trying to become a clairvoyant. Stop staring at candles waiting for something to happen. The best thing that you can do is channel that energy into purifying yourself, purifying your mind, going in and changing the programs, taking a look at your internal state and seeing if you operate more from a positive side or from a negative side. Once you start working on yourself and raising your personal frequency, clairvoyance is simply a byproduct of that. You have to think about clairvoyance and what it is. It's seeing beyond this earth and seeing into different realms. And that's a big responsibility. That's not just going to be gifted to anybody, You don't want to show something to somebody that's going to use it maliciously. So the best thing you can do is better yourself as a person, work on your mental state, release all of your judgments, become the best version of you, completely unfiltered, and your clairvoyance will naturally develop. Once again, my name is Leah Ann, and this video is brought to you by Earth Guide Collective. It's a space for all of us to raise our personal frequency together in order to create a new world. Thank you for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope that some of the things I shared about my clairvoyance, they relate to you. You feel a little bit more inspired, a little bit less crazy. Acknowledge that the things that you're seeing are completely normal. You just gotta start talking about it with people, and you're gonna realize that you are not alone. You are not the only one. So once again, please like this video if you liked it. Dislike it if you don't. I like all types of feedback, and leave me some comments below. Tell me about your journey. Let's start this conversation about clairvoyance, okay? Thank you.